everybody. We are getting started right this second, 2.5.
Thank you so much for coming out. I think National Geographic was asking us who's coming out. Like, everybody's coming. And they're like, well, let's see the registration. Like, they just show up. And you guys did show up, and I appreciate that. I think that's the move for our life. You guys have just shown up for all of us, all the storytellers, all the Rondo children. And so give yourself a round of applause for that. I appreciate it. So we're going to talk about 2092. I'm looking for the notes because I'm a little nervous. Okay, here we go. So 2892 is the reason why we're here today. And what that is 2892 is the distance, the mile distance across the continental United States. And we believe that each of those miles represents a story that has been forgotten or omitted or misrepresented, especially in our educational systems. So what 2892 is a social justice education program that seeks to remove that one voice, one story, one narrative concept and give multiple perspectives to our educational system. Now the great thing is these stories aren't just about anybody. They are made with the communities that live them, built them, and breed them. And we put them together in interactive multimedia digital form. So just really quick, 2892 currently right now has 5 active sites. So we have a Louisville map that is active right now. Our Rondo map is the second map for 2892, so we launched today. We have a Route 66 map that is actually across several states. Tulsa has 3 maps, and we have a new Hawaii map. So this is meant to be that textbook that we all wish we had, spoken by the people that lived and breathed. And speaking of that, I want to give some acknowledgments really quick. I don't know if you guys have looked at our beautiful map yet. It was rolling in the credits, and I gave those QR codes. But the builder of that map is here today, and I just want to highlight her. Anita, wave your hand right there, Anita Palmer. She built this beautiful map. I call it like GIS with soul. If you've ever seen a GIS map, it's like numbers move. But ours has like heart and it's soul, and it's because of her. And we also want to acknowledge another person, which is Shauna Crossan from the University of Minnesota. Shauna Crossan, yes, clap it way, Shauna, where are you? There you go. Shauna has been educating our teachers on how to build these maps themselves, and she's been helping us think about how we can build more community maps. So clap it up for those ladies. They are amazing. So our ask tonight, as you look at this story map and we think about what it means to launch, the goal of this isn't just for our community to celebrate and have a party. The goal of this is for this to get engaged into the educational systems, be it after-school programs like we are with the Science Museum or the JK Development It's for us to start telling our stories ourselves and educate our own students. So as you look at this tonight, you'll see these cards on your table. One of them is just to look at the map. The other one is to donate and support. And then lastly, we'll have a QR code for you to partner. If you want to connect, if you know somebody, or you want to partner with us, please click the QR code at the end of this session, and we will do that. So I'm going to be quiet now so you can meet the rest of these amazing people. Have a good evening.
You were supposed to talk a little longer, bro. See, you were supposed to. Well, tell me. All right, see, that's how you know it's my real little sister because we're not playing these games. Thank you to our sponsors. We have McDonald's in Lake Tap, Reconnect Rondo, Build a Bridge to Better. We appreciate you. Thank you. They are also in the program. We're going to keep this rolling for right now. Like I said, we have a very important person that's to get out of here, so I'm talking really fast, but I'll slow down in a minute. But coming to the stage, founded by one of my pseudo-fathers, Russell Knight, we have the Sounds of Blackness. I'm so excited. We have the Sounds of Blackness coming through, directed by Gary Hines. We are out here. Come on, y'all. Y'all, everybody still listens to the Sounds of Blackness Christmas album because I do every Christmas. I need to hear it. I did Black Butterfly in my cotillion. Like, I'm out here. What's up, baby? All right, come on. We got mics, baby. Y'all, we need that. And so who has been rocking Sounds of Blackness for 50 plus years? Please stand up if you have been a member, a part. Stand up. I want to acknowledge you as well. Hey, Russell Knight. Hey, Dad. Y'all better clap for my dad. Get out here. Okay, let's get out your way. Come on. Give me a second.
Can we say hotel? Hotel, everybody. Sounds of Blackness is so honored to be here. This community birthed and nurtured us. Down the road, McAllister College, and you just heard, the one who started us is here. Please give one more love to my brother, Russell Knight. Stand up, brother. We are so honored to give you just a song or two today very quickly. As a part of this program, it's a great honor because we realize that this is something that's on a national and even an international scale, even though we happen to be doing it here. Back in the day when it was happening across the country, and we do know, as Jerome showed us, that this was national and deliberate freeways through our communities across the country. They called it urban renewal, we called it Negro removal. Y'all remember that? And so we want to say now as we go forward to be optimistic and to hold on because change is coming.
brother. Brains got you down, things get bounced around. This is a little song that we wrote to give you some peace and joy and love. Hey! Come on. Keep it going with styles of blackness. I can't have to get the Holy Ghost. I didn't go to church this morning. I apologize. I was asleep. I couldn't get to church today. Thank you all so much. One more round of applause for styles of blackness. A Minnesota institution. All right. I told you I got to go quick. This. Go ahead, Adrian. Go ahead. I don't want to mess up nothing. All right. So coming to the stage right now, this is young lady. She has to leave. I came back home. I live in LA now. I came back home because Rondo is very important to me, and my friends that want to put this together. Like, I'm so excited for this. So it brings me great pleasure to bring to the stage and present with her the Rondo Servant Leader Award. My friend for 20-some thousand years. Give it up for Sasha Cotton. Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you to the storytellers and National Geographic and to the community. Thank you all so much for being here. The group of storytellers that have put this piece together are Rondo babies, truly. Vanessa and Billy included were not featured here. And big shout out to Parole Washington because she is the reason we all came together to do this really important project. So I am humbled and proud to be a true Rondo baby on both sides. I'm the Cotton, I'm the Thomas, I'm the Clemens, and the Lopez, and proudly a part of this community. I accept this award not only in my own name, but in the name of my family, those present, past, and yet to come. And I see my nephew back there waving at me. Unfortunately, I have to leave you all to do very important public service work that I do, which is focused on keeping our community safe and protecting us from police and community violence. So thank you all for uplifting us as Rondo babies in the next generation, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of this event. Have a great afternoon. Give it up again for Sasha Cotton. All right, she told me she did gigs about 15 minutes ago. So that's why I was breathing so heavy. I was trying to get her out because Delta will not let me take the next flight sometime. So thank you, Sasha. Now we can slow down, everybody can breathe, everybody can eat. Something to drink, you good? I'm the only one bragging. Okay, that's all right. That's fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so we are going to move right along and roll and that's in my little notes with nothing and stuff. But coming up, oh, I'm excited. Okay. Come to the stage right now. I grew up with him playing basketball. I let him win most of the time so he could feel better about himself. But he is one of the storytellers for you right now. I need you to give it up for Dr. Hasim Abdul-Razak.
Greetings. How's everybody doing today? We was asked as the storytellers to reflect on why. Why, as children of Black Rondo, have we committed to being a person who is active in our community and of service to our community? Before I talk about my why, I want to reflect upon what was just shared earlier from the Sounds of Blackness with Highway 94. That this was an intentional and deliberate act with the strategy to do but two things. And the two things that it was intentioned to do was to physically divide the Black community. Physically. To have us lose proximity to one another. And the second thing was to create divisiveness among us. I am a proud son of Rondo, and I am privileged to be standing here before you with all of the accolades that were just given to me only because of those men and those women in this community who chose not to run after physical abuse was caused to our community. No, I'll say it again. I am only here because of those men and women who chose to stay and fight. And what they chose to stay and fight about was an ideal, a big ideal, that is what sustains and moves us forward as individuals, and that is the preservation of family and community. And so today is a privilege, because each of the people who are part of the storytellers today, they are not random people that were pulled together. These are people who we've had overnights on each other's couches. We've played sports together. We've cried together. We've won together. Our parents were the Booster Club moms. Our fathers were the ones who coached us in sports. And so we know each other. We have an intimate friendship with one another. And today is not just about the story map, but it is about the ideal of reunifying family and community. On a chessboard, the weakest piece on the chessboard is what? Is a pawn. But any piece is weak when it is isolated and vulnerable. The queen, the rook, the bishop, if you leave them isolated, they are vulnerable. And what happened is that some people abandoned the community for the I. They left the we for the I. I don't want my children to experience this. I don't want to have to go through this. But I am here today celebrating those people who sacrificed and stayed. Those people saw myself and the other children and said, these are our pawns. And the only way for them to be successful, to get to the other side so that they might actually establish power and become a rook or a queen, a doctor, an attorney, is that as pawns we have to be unified. And so the men and women of our community, they unified and they sacrificed for the benefit of those coming behind them. And so when people ask me why, because I have those that are coming behind me. And my job is to honor the people who came before me and to carry forward their tradition. And this is my hopes and my prayers that I do this in a way that satisfies the elders in the community that has raised me. I thank you.
Let's go. Yes, Cafe. Keep it going for Cafe. I did not prepare a speech, but just take everything he said and act like I said that too. All right? We got that part together. Thank you. But no, this community really did raise us, and I'm looking out seeing all these familiar faces, and I 1,000% would not have made it had it not been for having this room. And I appreciate you and I thank you. Give yourself an applause because this was not an easy project to get up out of St. Paul, Minnesota. You hear me? It was a lot. My mom is here. I know she's like, thank y'all. I was tired. But coming to the stage right now is another one of our storytellers. Maya Johnson is an attorney and director of the Legal Revolution Prison to Law Pipeline, and she is here to talk to you today, so start clapping right now. Start clapping right now for the very beautiful Maya Johnson.
Thank you, everybody. It is a privilege and an honor to be here today, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. My story, what brought me to this project, is a little different than the other storytellers in that I was not born in Rondo, I did not grow up in Rondo, but went on this exploration of the story of Rondo to connect myself not only to the stories of the communities that I was in and went to school in, but also the stories of my ancestors and my family. I also should plug that by saying Jerome is my wonderful cousin. And so when I was in college, went on this journey and conducted what was very broadly categorized as a research study, but really was a really pivotal foundational experience for me, and that I was given the privilege of speaking with many of the Rondo elders and welcoming me into their homes and interviewing them about the experience of living in Rondo both before the highway and after. And I've always been brought in as part of this community that I'm very humbled in. Now today, the portion of the map that I focus on is really about telling those stories and learning from those that have lived different experiences, different walks of life, and bringing them into the community. My current position is telling the stories of folks that are currently incarcerated and bringing them into the legal space. And this project really is, I'm able to do that because of the foundation that this project gave me and that I have as a family member of Rondo, and for that I'm very thankful. So again, I'm really humbled to be here with you all, and thank you for having me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Can you go over my clap, 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 y'all never clapped before. Y'all done fed, you got a couple drinks in you, lemonade, of course, because it's Sunday, but keep that energy up. We have DJ Corey Cuts in the back, trying to seduce us a little bit. He was playing slow jam. I'll pick that up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to keep this program going and going and going. Coming up next, and I'm going to do his whole intro now that we slow down a little bit, is also a friend of mine from the illustrious Central High School. Okay. Central is the bomb, like you know it is. CHS produced a lot of quality talent out in the street. You hear me? St. Paul Central Blueberry School, we did the thing. I got a couple more years. I'm trying to get that little Hall of Fame. You're going to see all of us up there one day. Especially because my cousin's the principal now. Shout out Sharice. That was my principal heirs. Okay. Emmanuel Donnery is the creator of the first STEM Freedom School and the director of community services at St. Paul City Schools. A longtime leader of Minnesota Freedom Schools, took the legacy of Freedom Schools to never before seen heights through his innovation in creating the first STEM Freedom School in the country. Emmanuel's creative mind and community leadership reflects the innovation of Black brilliance cultivated right here in Rondo, as he leads the field in developing new pathways to close educational disparities in Minnesota with a model for the nation to follow. I am humbled to present the Rondo Innovation Award to my friend, Emmanuel Donnery. Come up here. Keep it going, keep it going. Central High School's finest out here. There's no, Matt, you got one job. You got the camera.
amazing and outstanding work that I'm able to be a part of. I'm gonna forewarn you, I'm not gonna widen your words right now. Can you hear me? Good, I love that response. Usually when you talk, people don't talk back. So I'm glad you are participating. Again, my name is Emmanuel. It means God is with us. So I always say Emmanuel, God is with us down here. I am privileged and just overwhelmed and overjoyed to be a part of this wonderful group who none of us thought we would be here today. But what I think it is the legacy of Rondo, the encouragement and the power of all of the elders that paved the way for us, have given us the strength to do what we're doing today. And each one of these people I can talk about and just enjoy being in their presence. And it was a joy to work with. And so this launch party means so much because we're able to not just tell the stories that helped us get to where we are, but we're able to tell the stories that we probably didn't think we were going to be able to tell about ourselves and how we contributed to this community. A lot of us grew up in this playground, in this gym, and it raised us. I appreciate all of the elders. I'm going to help myself out to say elders like y'all so much older, but all of the generation that came before us, I appreciate y'all so much for what y'all done. And it's so much of a pleasure to be able to talk to y'all, look y'all in your face, and just thank you, because now you have empowered us to do what we're doing and give on to the next generation, which is my piece of the Rondo 2892 project. As Vanessa gave you the intro to my story, it started when I found Freedom School, or Freedom School found me. Freedom School is a 6-week summer program that is based on the Freedom Summer of 1964, where a bunch of educators came down to Mississippi to help with the lack of education, voters' rights, and just help with black people in general. They taught under trees, they taught in churches, they taught wherever they could. They taught, the focus was literacy. So you think about how the 60s gave no love to black folks. To sum it up in just a quick phrase, there was no love to black folks, and the education was horrible. All these people came down there from different states, different communities to help with that re-education, and just giving that birth and life there. In the early 90s, Barry Wright Edelman founded Children's Defense Fund and brought back freedom schools to the nation. And it took place in just different cities and different countries, and it just kind of boiled over. We fast forward to the 2000s, where Minnesota was one of those places where freedom school was able to do a site. When I got a hold of freedom school, it just changed my life. And I've always, for many years that I've done freedom school, I always thought, how can I bring this back to the community that I wasn't privy to have this freedom school when I was growing up, so how can I bring it back? Fast forward again, I was brought to the museum, Science Museum of Minnesota. It's a great organization that I never thought was for me. But when I went in there, I didn't see people who looked like me. When I was able to go there and work there, I decided to, how can I flip this program, bring something that's been established, bring so detrimental to the community, and just innovative in all of that's done, and historical content of Freedom Summer of 1964. How can I bring that back to promote learning and education? So I combined the program. So I love taking credit for what has happened. But really what I did is just took 2 programs that's already established and already wonderful and already doing great work, and combine those programs to make a better way for the youth that I wish I would have had. I'm probably running over my 5 minutes, but I'm really excited.
Keep going.
I'm going to skip all that just to give a little bit of credit to the people, more credit to the people that I work with. Like, for one, Billy. I didn't see Billy since you were here at the playground. Let me tell you a quick story. Quick story of Billy and exit, because when I saw Billy last night, it was a bunch of catching us, and he told me how crazy and how crazy I was back in the day. We're not going to talk about those stories right now. Fast forward to today, when I saw him, it was just nothing but love. Like, I haven't seen him since then, but every time we get together, y'all know this is the truth. It's like we never miss a beat. Anybody that grew up in this Rondo neighborhood, whenever we see each other, it's like we never miss a beat. When I saw Billy today, I was like, what's up, Billy? He's like, yeah, what's up, what's up? And he kept it moving. And then I was like, oh, you were here about the work, right? You went to one of these rooms and we just started creating. And so when we look at these nice portraits around the room, really did that just like this. We just shut everything out and start creating. I just appreciate and love that brother for doing so. I love the world for bringing us together. We all have a story to tell, and if we're not giving back to the essence of what giving us the ability to do what we do, I don't think we're on the right journey. So us being able to do this, I think we're just paving the way for those who paved the way for us. And it's that continual cycle of just giving back. So I'm done. Mike, I got my sister in the back. I'm gonna do this to my sister. Appreciate you, sister. I love you. Thank you all for supporting us and keeping it.
Keep going, let's go.
Okay. Vanessa is the bomb. See her live stand up, she's dope.
You know what? Keep going for a week, man. That's the crazy thing about this event is like we are actually, we may not see each other for 20 years, but we still have that Rondo pride and we're still very close when we see each other. Quick story. What was it, 2 months ago, E? Emmanuel, quit hugging. What was it, 2 months ago? 2, 3, something like that. So I'm in LA, I live in LA. I'm at my local cigar lounge having Bible study because I would never smoke, but I was like that guy. And a friend of mine said, I met somebody from Minnesota here. And I was like, I don't know everybody.
Who is your friend? Who is your friend? Don't just say a friend of mine. Who's your friend?
Guy Torrey. Is that better? Yeah. Comedian Guy Torrey, all right? Shut up. Okay, so anyway, it's my story. So I'm sitting here with my friend Guy. He's like, I met somebody from Minnesota. I got offended because I was like, all black people in Minnesota don't know each other. I don't know every random black that came from Minnesota. Showing up, I walked out, we sitting there, it's Emmanuel having a cigar 2 blocks away from my house. I was like, oh, okay, I know that one. I get it. I know him, as we might have went to school together, whatever. And then we just kicked it for the night, like we had never not seen each other. And I don't think I've seen E since 98. Like, even before I left Minnesota. So that's just how we all rock, especially from Central CHS. Hey, okay. Johnny gonna get mad at me, so I'm gonna stop.
I know, all this Central before.
The next person I'm going to bring up did not graduate from Central, but that's all right, we love him anyway. We love him anyway. He went to Highland. It's cool. Come on, get your little time. Shout out Highland, y'all. Definitely number 2 in the district. Listen, the facts speak for themselves. I'm not hating, I'm just, Go ahead, I hear you. Just rowdy, that's the problem. That's why y'all had all the fights. Okay, I'm playing. We love fighting. Now that we all graduated, just St. Paul for life. How about that? Shout out St. Paul. Okay. So, Johnny Allen is the founder and CEO of JK Development and Performance Wear. Jimmy's Rec Center and T Law Center are, shout out. We all play ball in here. I think I still see some nicks I put in benches over there, but it was a hub for the St. Paul Rondo neighborhood for decades. It served as a sports powerhouse, youth development, employment, and enrichment space for the youth of our community. However, after the years of challenges, maintaining programming at the center was nearly lost as a community safe haven. Through his community commitment, perseverance, and proven sports, youth development, enrichment, and character leadership programming, Johnny Allen and the JK movement was able to reclaim this historic space for the Rondo community, bringing back that old flavor with a modern twist and increased opportunities. The JK movement is a shining beacon in the community, producing phenomenal youth leaders. We are here today because of this man, Johnny Allen, so I need you to give him that love. Start clapping right now. And I present him with the Rondo Reclamation Award. This is Johnny Allen.
I'll stay at the podium. How's everyone doing this afternoon?
we're very blessed that everyone was able to come. It's a Sunday. Vikings, did they win? Okay. That's the only time I say so Vikings. And Vanessa is like that. She's my friend because I had notes was injured hiding. It's very unacceptable here at the building. I got kicked out real quick, but I got no love for her. But thank you, everyone. I'm very honored, very blessed to accept this award. Was not expecting, like Brother E mentioned. I am a product of, well, let me back this up. I am a product of Johnny and Mary Allen.
That's right.
Outside of that, I'm a product of Aurora Block. Outside of that, I'm a product of Ron. I don't talk as much. I let my actions speak. So when I do talk, it's like I don't know what to say. I might be ad-lib, but I'm very in tune with my vision, and very in tune with our mission. I grew up in a neighborhood that adults and elders held us in a high standard, held us accountable, but loved us. And everyone knew everybody on the block. And when I started my organization, the JK Movement, exactly what Vanessa said, I wanted to bring that old school flavor back because that's how I was brought up. That's how I was able to befriend a lot of my peoples over here. Everyone in the crowd, DJ Corey Cutts, believe it or not, is my first friend. First friend. Like his grandmother was my babysitter on Aurora. So when we talk about legacy, when we talk about community, I'm a true essence of that. I am a product of that. And I really do, with the staff that I have with the JK Movement, we really do try to instill that with our babies that we serve and have resources for our families because that's how we are. That's what we're about. So I really don't have too much to say other than that. I am very blessed and honored. Like I said, we took over the building. And one thing that I did say to myself, I've always said this and no one really knows it, but I wanted to keep the legacy going for Mr. Jimmy Lee. I wanted to keep the legacy going for Mr. Jim Robinson. And I wanted to follow as much as I can with the vision that Michael Bridgeport had. And when he had the law on the team center. So all of those components is the reason why we're here. And I want to continue that legacy with the JK Movement. And just be on the lookout because we have some things brewing here at the building in our efforts to take this building to another level and have it still with us, our babies and Rondo. So I see my homeboy Mike. Much love to my boy Mike. Much love to my peoples, Sister Jay. Like I said, I don't talk too much. I let my actions speak, but they know I love them dearly, and I love y'all. Thank you.
Yeah. Really quick. Okay, I would like to bring Gary Hines back to the stage for a moment. I would be remiss if I did not do this. I got it. Where are you? Miss Amber? And I'm no hate on Island. I spend a lot of time over here. I was in these streets moving and shaking. Hello again. Okay, so I would like to present this plaque to you. And this is in honor of 50 plus years of being the sound of the black community, the sound of the black community, sorry. Thank you for reminding us to hold on, to stay optimistic and persevere through the pressure. You are our history, our hope, and our legacy. So I'm presenting this to you for the sound of blackness.
Well, since it's Sunday, I should say first give an honor to God, right? That's how we do it, right? But seriously, we have the sound of blackness. Again, our founder, Russell Knight, is here, and how appropriately so. Callister College, Sound of Black, some of our other better members, Valerie McCullers, here, so many more. Our singers and band, we thank you, Rondo Community, thank you, St. Paul. for your support of Sounds of Blackness. We know it takes a village, and we've been beneficiaries of that village, and by the grace of God, through the ancestor energy from Africa to America, I've been given the vision to keep our music alive, our history alive, every form, hence the name Sounds of Blackness: jazz, blues, gospel, hip hop, R&B, reggae, ragtime, rock and roll. Yes, rock and roll is black music. All of that. And so we accept this on behalf of all Sounds of Blackness, and we thank you, we praise God, we appreciate you, and we ain't going nowhere.
Thank you. Keep it going for the Sounds of Blackness. I feel like I'm being rushed. What y'all think? Oh, but Jerome, you should have been taking pictures. Oh, wait a minute. How we posing? He ain't even over here. I was supposed to be talking, but I wanted to be in the picture. Yep, she's the Sounds of Blackness baby, yes she is, and we are all children of Rondo. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a few minutes to go. I know some people got here a little later. There is food in the back. We are going to reconvene in roughly 7 minutes. Okay? So that's 7 minutes. If you got a table, if you want to get some lemonade, we're going to let DJ Corey Cuss tear it up for a little bit. So about 7 minutes, I'm going to be back. All right? Okay, we're going to turn on the lights so you can see what you need for that little bit of time. I know it's a little dark. get back started in about 3 minutes. My bad. But about 3 minutes, we're going to get back started. If you guys want to start settling back down.
Corey, you can probably cut it. So as you guys get settled back in, Jerome quit yelling at me. Again, I'm Vanessa Grab. For those of you who don't know or who do know, born and raised here, Central High School, grew up playing here at Junior League. I left about 16 years ago to move to California. So if anybody wants an update, I'm going to quit answering questions while I'm out there. I'm going to tell you right now.
I was here for a while. I went to the University of Minnesota and became a social worker because I wanted to work with kids at Central. That's what I wanted to do. I realized very quickly that I didn't like kids. Kids are evil, and I know some of y'all got y'all's kids here now. That's because you couldn't find a babysitter, because I know that you wanted 2 hours free of them. Because kids are evil, so God bless the educators in the room. Please give them a round of applause. Because I tapped out. I could not do it. I was a social worker for a little bit, and I had one kid talk about me bad, and that was the end. I'm blind in my left eye, it doesn't work. They used to talk about me at school. Somebody in the baby, they was just like, I know you can't see, you must have got contacts. I'm like, ma'am, I've had contacts since my senior year. You're not supposed to bring up old stuff. But my eye used to wobble around a little bit, right? Adults wouldn't say nothing to me because we have class, we have decorum. Kids don't care. I was going to the house, it's like, hey kids, I'm here to save you. What's wrong with your eye? Forget you, little monkey. That's why you ain't never gonna be nothing. I would, listen. And apparently it's frowned upon to punch kids in the sternum. That is not what I'm supposed to do when they talk crazy. But it is not against the law to punish your children. Corporal punishment is not against the law, guys. It is just against the law to leave a mark or bruise that lasts for longer than 48 hours. So what I say is whoop them on Friday, so by Monday the bruises are gone and the teachers don't know. You're welcome for that. What's funny is I see several people in this room that beat me when I was little, and y'all should be laughing a little harder because God saved y'all. Because y'all knew the police department. You knew Porky wasn't going to do nothing to you. Because y'all was friends. It was tearing us up on the morning. But are we all still back here because we're going to keep this moving and shaking. But so I said to say I was a social worker. I moved out to LA. I now am doing comedy and writing. Please watch my show. It's called Funny You Should Ask. It's a game show and I need to keep a job, so I'll have to move back here and then with my mother because we probably kill each other. So please watch the show so I can keep a job. But we are going to keep it moving. We have one more award and a couple more presenters, and then we're going to let you get out of here. Sound like a plan? All right, give it up one time for yourselves, Rondo Community. Give it up. Let me know that you're still awake and here and present. I'm going to bring back to the stage my friend, Kasim. Come talk to the people. Oh, you know what you're talking. That was your intro. That was your intro. We practice this.
All right. So we're getting close to the end. But before we close, there's someone that I'm excited to bring up and share a few words. A man that, again, I grew up with. He's a true son of Rondo. Migrant here from Mississippi. Came up, again, St. Paul Central. But I'm excited to bring him to the front to share a few words because of the service that he's done both behind the scenes and on the front lines. And a lot of times in our community, we have people who are elevated in terms of their status and in terms of their acknowledgement. But this is a brother who I know, because of the intersections of our work, that has been behind the scenes fighting a very specific agenda, a very specific fight, in a very unequivocal and very specific way. This brother, Brother Nick Muhammad, not only is he on the front lines doing this work, but he is a visionary. He leads an organization called the Black Civic Network. And I want you to listen to the name of the organization, the Black Civic Network. This is Minnesota, where when they talk about stuff like Minnesota Nice and this informal culture that we have here, one of of the things is that sometimes you can have black people who are afraid to be specific about their blackness, to shy away from the politics of making things specifically be about the issues and concerns that black people have. That is not this brother. The motto of this organization is freedom starts at home. Freedom starts at home. Not equity, freedom. His focus is in on the family unit and pushing out from there the community. Him coming here today, he thinks that he's only here to share a few words. And that's how you get a person like this to come out. You don't get them to come out by recognition, you get them to come out through a call of service. And this man demonstrates the qualities of what it means to be from Rondo, which is to have call and response. And so I called him here today and asking him to share a little bit about what his vision is for Rondo, what he's been doing in the community. But the other thing that I'm here to do is to acknowledge him with this very specific award called the Rondo Bridge Builder Award. You can just give him some cards for that. This award of a bridge builder it encapsulates what he's been doing. When I watched him in the community doing his work, there's not divisiveness or restrictions around age, around gender, and around social status. He intersects with all areas and facets that have to do with black community issues. I've seen elders pay reverence to him, and I've watched him pull in our youth in a way to get them civically engaged. And that's what it means to be a bridge builder. To bring our elders, to bring our youth, and to bring those in between together so that we're unified. And Brother Nick Muhammad has been doing this again on the front lines and behind the scenes. And so tonight, my dear beloved Brother Nick, it is important that us as your peers, and the awards that everybody saw today, these were awards given by peers. We are not in competition with one another. We are loving and lifting up those who are in the struggle currently with us doing this work. And so, Brother Nick, I want to give you this award, the Rondo Bridge Builder Award for Outstanding Civic Leadership and Intergenerational Connector.
Good evening, everybody. I love these brothers and sisters. Y'all gotta give me a little bit. I wasn't expecting this. I'm close friends, close brothers of mine. So when he called me and told me to be here, like he said, it was a call to service. We was getting down to exactly what we wanted to see in Rondo. And that's what I came out for. So when he switched it up to this, I don't get caught off guard too much. Play a lot of chess. That was a smooth move, y'all. Y'all got me on that one. Like you said, my name is Nick Muhammad, Central High School alumni, class of 97, who was all, rebel rouses and troublemakers and innovators. Most importantly, these are human beings that came out with our compassion and our humanity intact. When I got here, You know, I was a transplant from a little small city called Indianola, Mississippi. Now, Indianola is pretty small. The biggest thing in Indianola was a museum dedicated to one of the greatest blues singers ever to grab a guitar, and that was B.B. King. And so when we moved up here, those who are from the South, y'all know when you come fresh from the South, you have what they call a draw. I ended up at Webster Elementary School with a very big draw. So instead of saying pickle, I would say purple. Instead of saying orange, I would say orange. And a lot of people had a lot of things to say, and we took it out on football fields playing crunch, and sometimes we duked it out. But at the end of the day, we became the best of friends from it, and this community embraced me. When I was a little wayward youth, I got my first job at Mr. Tillman's Market, picking up trash because I must have looked like I was hungry. If he didn't give me something to eat, I might have did something to make him call my mother, because that's how connected the community was. But from that little interaction, there was so much that was taught to me in that store, in that setting, from this community, that by the time I turned 18, every job I went to outside of this community, I immediately shot to management just because of how I was taught by my community. This is pre-college and going on to St. Paul College. But as the years progressed, I left. I ended up in South Florida. Y'all can't blame me. I got down there. My African blood got activated. It took me a few years to get back. But I got back. And the thing that bothered me the most is I started seeing all of these institutions disappear along the Selby corridor that I remember. As those disappeared, I began to see a gradual decline in the quality of life. I began to see a gradual decline in some of the family's structures. Not from our elders, but from my generation moving forward, it became increasingly more difficult for us to come out on the other side of success, marriage, community connectedness. And I was an artist at the time, so I used to, with another one of my classmates, we used to run around here like we was public enemies / NWA in the face of every crowd we could, made MTV run out of here a few times for speaking to power. But it was on a tour from St. Paul all the way out to the East Coast, where we literally toured the hoods from St. Paul, the North Side, all the way to Harlem. And one of the things that broke my heart and set me on fire was in every single place I seen people that looked like you and me, it was the exact same conditions for the exact same reasons. So I vowed in there, I was done rapping. When I got back, I wanted to get deeply involved in the political scene any way I could and figure out exactly how we could begin to address these disparities and begin to do something about it, connect with my elders, because there's a lot that they've taught me, and one of the reasons that I'm able to walk in with my chest out and my head held high is because my elders told me everything that happened before I go into the room, what the tactics were, all of the spin games, how they're gonna play with you with money, and above all, keep your integrity. You're not for sale. If you go in there and do that, we got your back into this day. Even the founders of Rondo, I seen them on the way out. Floyd Smaller and his son, they have my back. Brother Kasim, they have my back. Each and every one of you in this room, I know you have my back. And so, for me, seeing St. Paul in the current condition that it's in, and this is not because we're not wanting to do better, but to Kasim's point, there's been a co-opting of the black experience. I'm tired of people coming up with catchphrases to include black data and black statistics, but when it's time for the resources to actually go where everybody identifies the disparity is, for some reason it doesn't get there. So part of what I hope we're continuing to do is to make sure that we're putting the right people with the right integrity and leadership. And more importantly, I want to make sure that we have a plan and a list of demands for everybody that goes into leadership for our community. If you're a friend of the black community, stand with us. Do not let people co-opt our pain and not actually put the resources in to help repair what, in my opinion, is the biggest crisis, which is the black family. I sit back and I study the data in Ramsey County, and the county already knows that they're failing black community. But when it's time for them to do something about it, case in point, after COVID, there was a bright light shown on what the impact and the cost of these disparities truly is from community to community. And what the state learned is that the face of the impact of COVID-19 was a black face. So when the ARP funds, the American Rescue Plan dollars came down the pipeline, federally there was a guideline that said these funds can be used to invest in critical infrastructure where disparities contributed to a disproportionate impact of COVID-19. Now, for those of you that work in policy, you understand that when something's in federal writing and federally mandated, that is the way. But for some reason, in light of seeing that, we have yet to see critical resources directed into the black community, even though everyone talks about us as the face of COVID or the face of public safety. And the irony of both is that when you have strong families, you don't have as many people inside of public safety and wayward activities. And a strong family is better than any government program. And all I stand for is to get us back to a place where our families have optimal opportunities. I'm not crazy enough to say that I can predict outcomes, but I was born on a farm. And I know if the soil is right and tilled it correctly, the likelihood that you're going to be able to reap a good crop, it grows exponentially. And that's the job of these politicians, that's the job of policy. Create the conditions for success. That's what I fight for day in, day out. I'm not backing down because I am a father. I have been married, but we get married again. Taking my time, but I have children. I want them to have a solid chance at success. If they slip, I want things that actually concentrate on them as family units and not political pawns and pieces to be exploited against each other inside of our household. And I want you to think about this as we leave here today. If we're going to be about the business of the black community becoming whole, we got to be about the business of rebuilding the black family and the generations that need our guidance the most. Stop getting embarrassed about that. And the stronger those families are, the fewer the children that slip through the cracks and the families that slip through the cracks. That's the job of county commissioners, government officials, whether it's in the state, the House, whether it's in the city. Their job is to create the best conditions for these families to survive. And I'm tired of us being in the face of disparities and not the face of the communities that receive the resources. And to put it in perspective, one of the reasons my chest is so big about this is I'm not asking anyone for anything. We have a small community here in Minnesota, 350,000 black people and growing. But that small little community produces $3 to $4 billion annually in tax-based contributions to the state and the Fed. That's with a B. So don't tell me you can't find $500 million for whatever education program our community needs in order to run our schools to make sure that we have optimal education and advantages. Don't tell me we don't have resources to get real housing programs that put us back into our homes. Not when all of these same forces cooperated to create redlining and to put us in the position that we are today. We need that same energy when it's time to fix the problem. And that's the only way we can fix the problem. The God I worship taught me a little bit about science. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, now it's time for the piper to be paid. So we need every level of government, every private institution that participated and reaped the benefits off of breaking down the black community and black families to now cooperate in reestablishing the health of the black families and getting us back to an optimal starting position And that's my vision for Rondo. That's the work I do every day. That's why I'm the executive director of Black Citizen Network. And that's why I invested black men, young black men, to get them involved in the process early, and young black women to get in the process early and not be going for the opioid. So I want to thank y'all. I don't want to take up too much time. And again, Brother Cosby, this was good. This is my only award for this work, and it's the most serious one I've ever gotten, and I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Keep going, keep it going. Okay, we have one more. You guys still doing all right? Still with me? I'm not even gonna do that. Wait, I gotta do this out of love because I want to bring this next young man to the stage who I have known most of my life. We have fought, we have prayed together, we went to camp. This is a friend. I love him so much. He's doing big things out on the East Coast. He came back home for us because this is so important to us, the Rondo community. He is a child of Rondo and he is here right now. I'm so glad to have him. I need to start clapping right now for Billy Sanders. He a gentleman too, y'all.
Amen. Hey, family. Hey! Oh, we got family right here? Extremely nervous. It's all love. It's easy to do the work that I'm doing for the people who don't know me. It's very hard to be genuine and not emotional in front of the people who raise me. Come on, bro. Take your time. All right. Thank you, Jerome, for inviting me. Shout out to your husband. I haven't met him. I heard about him all these years. Shout out to you. Shout out to your family. This is not a wonderful event. For those who grew up at Oxford, that's what we call generally Oxford. Look at this gym. We ain't never about to see no stuff like this. We got two-tone walls in here. What's that? This is beyond me, okay? This is beyond me. Kasim is not Dr. Kasim. I don't know if I want to call him doctor yet. Mom is here. How you doing? Man, I have a son. He's 23 years old. And I was originally his mentor when he was 6, 7, and 8 years old. I ended up falling in love with my mentor, and then I did right by him. I thought to marry his love. Ain't that something? Backwards, right? The marriage didn't work out. It ended really quick. but I committed to raising Donovan. I committed to raising him. Junior high, high school, college. He graduated last year from the University of Virginia, right? It's imperative that I share that because the only way I would have the courage to continue to raise a young black boy who was not my child was by the examples that I was blessed with growing up in Rondo. I was on my own at 14 years old. And I have a lot of family members here who can attest that will check me if I'm lying, so they're all right here, okay? Now, I can say I was on my own, but I was never lonely. I had plenty black men who invested in me, took me under their wing, showed me how to lead, showed me how to love myself. That type of love gave me the courage to raise another boy because a lot of men raised me. You see how that works? My dad is in the audience somewhere. Shout out to, where you at? Raise your hand. Way in the back. Way in the back. He has tough skin, so it's all love. I'm gonna share some real stuff. Y'all good with that? Good. All right. Listen. What Rondo does is continue a spirit of freedom, a spirit of courage, a spirit of we gonna do this. If you look at one of the oldest monuments in Rondo, that's Pilgrim Baptist Church. Am I right? Pilgrim Baptist. Shout out to the Spirit of Christ. Shout out to y'all. That church, let alone Rondo, started by enslaved Africans who ran all the way up north. They probably thought they were in Canada by the time the snow melted. They was like, dang it, right? And thus there's Rondo. But that spirit never left. A lot of free-thinking black folks live up here in Rondo. Wherever I go, I tell people I'm from a hood in Minnesota, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, my hood is all black. And they're like, yeah, all black? I'm like, we 2 grocery stores deep black. Like Mr. Tillman's and Miss Fletcher's. Can I get a witness? We black. I'm talking about Walker West Academy black. We black. J.J. Hill black before they became Montessori. We black. I'm from that hood. I'm from that place that cultivated me. I'm from this place that we affectionately call Oxford, because I lived right across the street on Eaglehart and Oxford, which is now you don't see it. I also lived on 1055 Marshall on the other side. Now you don't see it, but you know it's there because I'm here. Oxford raised me. Oxford is where I used to get, beat on the basketball court by Dr. Kasim. Oxford, right? Is where when Kasim and I will be done playing football, we go run down and watch, because this is like 5th and 6th grade, right? Before he had this little cute beard he got right now, it's a little, we have no facial hair. We'd be done playing football, we'd go run down and watch 3rd and 4th grade play because Jerome was running touchdowns. Because Oxford had believed in promoting black women who wanted to play with the boys. So they let Kasim's little sister, Wazira, stop me if I'm lying, right? Jerome and Wazira used to run touchdowns up and down the field. And we used to be in amazement, like, yo! And Kasim be like, that's my sister. I only knew of one black college. That was Hillman. It was Oxford, who hosted HBCU college fairs right here in this gym. When I was too young to even think about college, Oxford had took the chance and said, hey, we believe in y'all, and we're gonna show you that you can go to school. Fast forward, I graduated with a 1.4 GPA. Do the math, that's a D-. Because another wonderful woman in here, Jan Mandel, I don't know where you at. Jan Mandel, okay. Jan Mandel knew that I was on my own, knew that I was skipping school, but she let me chill out all day in the Black Box Theater. She's like, listen, I'd rather you be in here than be out there in these streets. You can stay in here. She inspired me to write all kind of plays. She taught me about improv, and those improvisational skills I used when I became a professor at Florida A&M University. Thank you, Jan. You see how this works? But this is the Rondo community, because we don't let nobody go. We keep you in. You see how that works? This is exactly why I couldn't give up on my mentee who became my son. I couldn't give up on him. This is exactly why we celebrate Juneteenth. We don't celebrate a day of independence. We celebrate Juneteenth. We celebrate when the last Negro got free. The last Negro, we waiting for you. We don't give up on one another. That's Rondo. Rondo makes it to where I love coming back home all the time. I talk greatly about Rondo wherever I go. But I'll tell you what, I host an annual block party called Safe House in Southeast DC, which is the most impoverished, dangerous place in DC if you ask anybody, but that's where I live. Because there, I feel at home. There, I feel like I'm on Selby, old school Selby, not gentrified Selby. Because I know the code. I know the code. Every year, it became 50 to 100. Now hundreds of people come out every year to my block party. It's lit because Oxford showed me how we can recreate space and recreate magic and inspire young black kids all around this neighborhood. They did that for me on Halloween. How about this? My mom, when she lived right here in the street that don't exist anymore, 1064 Iglehart, kicked me out the house at 11 years old. Can you believe that? Because I was bananas. She sent me to live with my dad over in Hanover Projects, you know, before it was gentrified. But my dad lived over there in Hanover Projects. Unfortunately, he was strung out on drugs and couldn't really continue to raise me the way he wanted to raise me. So he thought he did what the best thing he could do, which was passively send me back to my mom's house. But I didn't understand that at 11 years old, because in my view, he took me he dropped me off at Oxford on Halloween and never came back to pick me up. But in his loving way, he was actually pushing me back to my mom's house, but I couldn't see it that way. All I know is that my mom kicked me out and my dad abandoned me. And you know who stayed out with me? Mitch. Mitch, where you at? Raise your hand. Mitch, who worked right here at Oxford. The event ended at 10 p.m. Mitch stayed outside with me for 2 hours. 2 hours waiting for my dad. I refused to go across the street to my mom's house. And Mitch was like, man, I got to take you back to a safe place. And because of that, to this very day, I host Safe House every Halloween. That every child have a chance, that every child feel love, that we ain't letting nobody go. Love you, Dad. It's all good. He's in recovery, like my mom's in recovery. Ain't that something? Never letting go. Never letting go. That's the spirit of Rondo and what kept us. So shout out to Floyd Smaller and Rondo Inc. Shout out to y'all for keeping the vision alive. Because here's what happened. The thriving black community that we knew as Rondo, the business district, the homes, the people, the families, uprooted. The government debated back and forth, well, we are going to kick these Negroes out of here, but are we going to have an elevated highway or an underground highway? I don't know. Thus, if you go through 94, right, it's inverted. It's like an open tunnel, right? But I see that as a sea of opportunity, a sea of opportunity where black folks on either side never let go of one another, kept in contact with one another, still kept loving one another. That sea, we had to get from one side to the other side through a bunch of ships. That took friendship. It took sponsorship. Come on now. Those ships got us to the other side. I ride on that to this very day. I never lose sight of what Rondo is and what Rondo is going to mean to me. So for every educator who decides to take the history of Rondo and the current, past, and future history of Rondo and ingratiate that into your curriculum, shout out to you. But we have a curriculum today. We have the answer today. This book, Crusaders for Justice, authored by scholar Arthur McWatt. This is our curriculum for Rondo. If you're going to teach it, teach it. Mr. McWatt knew years ago that this day was going to be here. He didn't know exactly how it was going to come to fruition, but he already knew. So not only did he write a history book for black history in Minnesota, which a lot had to do with Rondo, but he put it in chapters. It's written in chapters so that the teachers of tomorrow will get this today and continue to teach our children that we never let anybody go. So for all you educators in here, take this book. You can take a picture of it, scan it, it's all up. His wife, Katie McWatt, a street is named after her, Katie McWatt Way, on Dayton and Dale. Katie McWatt, longtime educator, right? Also worked at Central High School, not Highland. Worked at Central for many years. Katie McWatt, in her brilliance, started the Minority Encouragement Program. Minority Encouragement Program, right? It was the alternative route for many black students who got railroaded out of IB and Quest, or AP. We couldn't get into the AP classes magically. Katie McWatt had a vision. No, we're gonna put all of our black kids in an accelerated program. I was chosen, I got in there. Katie McWatt did that. That's Rondo. That is Rondo. In Rondo, you can go to Central and take African American history. You can take Swahili 1 and 2. You can take Harlem Renaissance. These are actual classes in the high school right up the street. That's Rondo. We're courageous enough to celebrate ourselves and systematically change it by ingratiating it into our curriculum. That's the challenge. It is an honor to be here. I thank each and every one of you. I'm gonna get off before I shed a thug tear, okay? Or shed one tear like Denzel did in Glory. It is an absolute honor to be here. I love each and every one of you. I wouldn't miss this for anything in the world. Thank you so much.
Keep it going for yourselves. Thank you. We're going to get this out of here. Thank you guys for being here. We are going to wrap up. Just while we have everybody in the room, just something to think about and get moving and shaking, because I see a lot of people that can do a lot of things in here. Can we bring Rondo Days back? Can we do that? Can we bring Rondo Days back? Bring Rondo Days back. I promise I will come back and host it. Just bring Rondo Days back. We need it for the community, okay? I don't hear people agreeing. I can't see, but I can hear. I'm asking you to bring Rondo Days back, and I am committing myself to coming back to be a part of it. Thank you all. I'm going to bring everybody who was involved back up, please. Jerome, if Maya's still here, Kasim, E, Johnny. All y'all come to the stage. I'm saying your name so you can start moving. They don't listen. Everybody, if you came on this stage, come back. Come back, come back, come back, because I need Rondo to see what Rondo raised. You raised us. Like, this is y'all. Give yourselves a round of applause for what you did and what's evident on this stage right now. You did this. Jan Mandel, I know Billy gave you your flowers. I'm going to give them back, because that Central Touring Theater, without it, I wouldn't be on TV today. Without Central Touring Theater, I wouldn't be who I am at this moment. Thank you. Mitch, keeping us out. Like, there's too many names. Miss Montgomery came over and was talking to me when I was about to do bad stuff. Like, everybody in here. Kim, I can't, it's too many people. I needed y'all to, like, make a list or something, but you know that I love you. All of our pseudo parents, again, you raised us. All of us, everybody up here we'd probably be doing something nefarious, who knows. But I'm gonna give it back to my sister, Jerome. Good word, see, you ain't heard nefarious in a minute, have you? There you go.
Nefarious, spell it. All right, so we appreciate you guys coming out today, and you've heard a lot about Rondo. You've heard about the heart of it, the perseverance of it, the future of it. And we want all kids to know about Rondo, not just the Rondo kids. So if you want to engage with us in this project, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can engage with us as sponsors or funders, as we do. You know, when you give digital tools to schools, it's not something you can just say, hey, and go teach. Our teachers need support and help with this, and we provide that context for them, just like we did at our Educators Summit. If you want to sponsor more stories, we have a vision of making a digital textbook for Minnesota, and we want to do more stories like this for other communities. Or if you just want to help out, you know somebody or you're a teacher yourself, and you want to develop lesson plans with the standards that you have. We have space for all of those things. So go ahead and click the QR code, and you can sign the form, decide how do you want to connect with us, or if you just want to know more, you can do that as well. So we thank you guys. We're going to turn on the lights so you can party. We'll be here to answer any questions or mingle. But we appreciate you guys, and I hope you have your bracelets that say Forever Rondo, because we're all Forever Rondo because of you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That's it. Johnny gonna turn on the lights in a second. He got to turn them on. He on the stage. Just give him a second.
my first friend. So, you know, that type of relationship I have with all my people.
What's up, bro? Y'all keep it up, man.
Yeah, we will. I can't stop. I can't stop. I gotta keep it moving.
Check. Real quick before everybody leaves, please go stop by and see DJ Corey Cuss. Give DJ Corey Cuss his roses while he's still here. If you need him to DJ an event, he got you. Shout out DJ Corey Cuss.
Thank you.